Since we've been working with this search box, let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm going to go ahead and type in Zimbabwe. Alright, that didn't reveal any search results. It says your search yielded no results. Now if search had been working properly, that search would have displayed a result. So what's going on here? Well, we need to understand just a little bit about how search works. So go ahead and jump back to your administration browser and go ahead and click configuration in your admin bar. Let's do a search in the browser for search. Okay, it shows up this box here that says search and metadata. And we have a search settings option here. Let's go ahead and click that. At the very top is some content that's pretty important to understand, so I'm just going to read it. The search engine maintains an index of words found in your site's content. To build and maintain this index, a correctly configured cron maintenance task is required. Indexing behavior can be adjusted using the settings below. Okay, so just because we added content doesn't mean that it will show up in our search. That indexing of the search content happens behind the scenes during cron runs. Now, if you've never heard of cron runs before, they're also an important concept here. Cron runs perform tasks that shouldn't be taken in the regular course of using the site. For example, you wouldn't want a resource-intensive process like indexing content for search happening as a user is using the site, otherwise it's going to be rather slow. So instead you defer that to a cron run that runs regularly behind the scenes as a different user to perform tasks like that. So let's go ahead and click this cron maintenance task link to learn more about it. Notice that when we go to this page, or any page in the administrative site, that the parent page highlights in the administration bar. So if we get to an administration page some way other than the administration bar, we can learn about where it's organized in the hierarchy by looking at this list. Okay, back to cron runs. So we're currently on the status report page, and this contains information about various aspects of our site. Down here we have an item called cron maintenance tasks, and it says you can run cron manually, and if you click this it will do that. And it says to run cron from outside the site, go to, and then there's a link. The idea is that you can set up something called a cron job on your server to automatically go and trigger cron runs by going to this page. And a key is added in order to make sure that just random users don't go to this page and run cron unexpectedly. Notice that it says up here that cron ran 2 hours and 44 minutes ago. That's because even though we don't have a cron job configured on our server, it's still running every once in a while when a user is navigating through the site. And it's that navigation process that will trigger the cron job. Now again, this isn't optimal because if cron is doing something that's resource intensive, that user's experience is going to be a little slow or delayed. So we want to defer this when we can to cron jobs on our server. And we can also run cron manually. Let's go ahead and do that because this is how our search index is going to be processed. Okay, it says up at the top that cron ran successfully. And in our cron maintenance tasks here, it says last run 2 seconds ago. If we go back to our search, I'm going to go ahead and click back in the browser a couple of times. We see at the very top here, indexing status. Now if you scrolled back in the video, you'd see that 0% of the site had been indexed before we ran the cron. Now that it's been run, it says 100% of the site has been indexed, and there are 0 items left to index. Okay. So now let's go ahead and try our search. I'm going to jump back to the browser where we're an anonymous user, and I'm going to search again for Zimbabwe. Okay, we actually get a search result this time. It's Jump for Joy, one of the tours that we added. So at this point, search will work properly, although after we add content, it may be a while before that content is added to the search index. We can always trigger it to be manually added by running a cron run, by going to that status reports page, or we can configure a cron job to run on our server. If you don't know what a cron job is, don't worry about it. You can just use the default setup on Drupal.